focus on. And honestly, it may be the most revealing thing about Julian. He simply doesn't try to restore paganism. He tries to reform it. And the way he reforms it tells you how complete the transformation already was. Julian wants pagan priests running charitable systems, hospitals, food distribution, and care for the poor. He literally writes letters demanding pagan institutions imitate Christian social welfare structures. Think about that carefully. The man attempting to reverse Christianity can no longer imagine institutional religion outside of Christian categories. The empire had changed, and that's where this changes. He isn't restoring the old religion of Augustus. He's rebuilding paganism using the organizational template of the system that he's trying to defeat. And once you see that, the whole story opens up. Because systems that run long enough don't just dominate institutions, they dominate imagination. Even opponents start thinking inside the framework they inherited. Julian's paganism becomes organized, hierarchical, and welfare-oriented, because those are now the only administrative categories available to him. The transformation is already complete enough that the resistance itself is built from its logic. That's not a side detail. That's the entire autopsy. Julian eventually moves his base to Antioch in the Eastern Empire, closer to Persia and the coming military campaign. Now, Antioch is massive, one of the largest cities in the Roman world, and it's overwhelmingly Christian. Julian orders the revival of the oracle at Daphne, this famous pagan sacred site outside the city. He expects crowds, renewal, momentum, but instead almost nobody comes. And that's what's fascinating. The reaction isn't hostility, it's indifference. The temple had been neglected for decades. Ritual knowledge had been lost. Priests who remembered the old ceremonies were aging or already dead. Younger generations had grown up inside Christian liturgy instead. Julian becomes visibly frustrated with Antioch. He mocks the city in his satirical writings, complains about entertainment culture and spiritual emptiness. But honestly, the deeper problem isn't Antioch. The deeper problem is that memory itself had already broken. You can restore a building. You can't instantly restore embodied tradition. Ritual knowledge lives in people, families, apprenticeships, communities. Once those transmission chains disappear, reconstruction becomes incredibly difficult, if not impossible. By the time Julian takes power, the Eastern Empire had already been Christian long enough that pagan rituals feel foreign, not threatening, just unfamiliar. Like hearing a language your grandparents spoke that you never learned yourself. And that's a more complete form of defeat than outright suppression. Because Julian's restoration isn't aggressively rejected. It simply isn't recognized anymore. The third fault line we talked about was borders. Julian needed military legitimacy. Every Roman emperor did, but Julian did especially. He comes to power through revolt against Constantius II. Constantius dies before the civil war is fully erupting, but the uncertainty remains. An emperor without battlefield legitimacy in Rome is unstable by definition. Julian looks east to Persia. The Sassanid Empire had become Rome's rival for centuries. Constant border tension, territorial disputes, strategic pressure along the frontier. In 363, Julian launches a massive Persian campaign. Some estimates put the army around 65,000 men. He saw himself as Caesar invading Gaul. Initially, the campaign moves well. Roman forces penetrate deep into Persian territory. They reach Ctesiphon, the Persian capital, and then everything slows down. The defenses are too strong for direct assault. The Persians avoid open battle. Supply lines stretch dangerously thin. Then Julian makes a decision historians still debate endlessly. He burns his own fleet. Tactically, there's reasoning behind it. The riverboats can't advance effectively upstream, and they require manpower to maintain. But once you burn the retreat route, your campaign changes psychologically. Now, there's only forward. The army turns north trying to reach friendly territory, while Persian cavalry constantly harass them. Food disappears. The heat intensifies. Men begin dying less from battle than exhaustion, thirst, and attrition. Then on June 26, 363, During one of these skirmishes, Julian is struck by a spear.